I want y'all to welcome Wood on the beat.
What's good, man? How you feeling?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm great, man. I appreciate you coming on this morning, even with the technical difficulties. Um, F Dub said free 10V, man. So you already know what it is. With that,
Free 10V, man.
yeah, bro. So I want to get started, man. So you and I, we got basically I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, and then I kind of get into our background and how we came to be at this point, at this moment. But let me hear a little bit about who you are, man, and what you do.
Okay, well, I'm Wood on the beat, rapper turned, producer turned, streamer turned, everything else. And pretty much I started out rapping, that was the dream. But over time it's like what it take to be an artist, it take a lot. And you need some money behind you, at least some type. So, one day I just decided, man, let me try something else. I was a big Kanye fan, so I always wanted to be the producer rapper. And as I started making those beats, I kind of fell in love with the production, and the rap just took the back seat. And once I started making some money and gaining some notoriety from the beats, man, the rap is obsolete. You
Well,
know?
so and you're out of Detroit,
Yep.
Detroit native. What school did you go to?
High school, I went to Persian and Osborne,
Okay,
but I didn't complete. I didn't complete.
okay. Well, listen. So me and you, we met back in 2009 or something like that, 2008.
2010.
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah.
I think I had a rental property next door to where y'all were living at, and I would come and go. I'd be over there working, and you had this big, crazy dog.
Oh man.
And I used to run in the house and get up out of there because that dog was going crazy every time I came by the side of the house. You couldn't tell. It sounded like it was a bear in the garage. But I would see your sister in passing, and we would speak, but you rarely came out. You maybe bring the dog out here and there, but you rarely came out. You was kind of low key, and you can give me a nod every now and then. But as time went past, I think me and your sister had a conversation, and she said something about you rapping. Said my brother rap, and I don't know if I said something to you first or how this went, but you handed me a CD. It was a mixtape you had did. And just like any other time, people give you mixtapes and all that all the time. You know how people do. Everybody say they can rap. It's like everybody going to the NBA. But
Facts.
yeah, but I left with the CD, and I don't think I even put it on. Yes, I did. I put it on later on that day. And soon as I heard it, this was you rapping. You hadn't started making beats yet. But I put the CD on, and I beeline back. It was Greensboro. I said, "Are you serious? Is this dude rapping like this right next door to me all this time? This introverted dude who rarely even talks got flows like this." And when I heard it, man, I was like, "Bruh, this, the world got to know about this." And can you hear me? Yeah. So I said the world has to hear this, what I'm hearing right now. And it was even down to your beat selection. You were grabbing tracks that it was just different. It was tracks that was already out that I had never even heard of. Yeah, I think you had some common tracks and everything on there. But anyway, to make a long story longer, I beeline back to the house, and I pulled up and I saw you, and that's where it all sparked from right there. Tell me a little bit about the early days when you was rapping and producing that wasn't even on the horizon yet.
Man, I grew up seeing my older brother. You know, he used to take me to the studio with him and his friends, and like they was really doing it around this time. They had opened up for Jay-Z. You know, he bringing home contracts from Sony, like they about to get signed and all that. So I'm seeing it at like 11, right? So you know, I'm like, man, I want to be a part of that because I watched them that studio session they had. Man, I'm like, man, I gotta do whatever this is. I gotta do this. So I was just trying to figure it out. For the next 8 years, I'm calling his homeboys, him, rapping it. They telling me it's trash, hanging up in my face. I'm like, damn. Kept making me want to prove them wrong. So I kept writing, kept calling them trash. The day I finally got a silence, I was like, okay, I got it now. You
You
feel me?
got it.
I got it now.
Now, when you saying that the day that they didn't respond and say it was trash, you knew something?
It was like a pause before the bro. You wrote that?
Okay.
Ain't no
Okay.
way you wrote that.
Right.
And that was when I knew, okay, yeah. All this work been paying off. You know, my family used to think something was wrong with me because I used to just sit in the basement writing raps all day.
Okay.
And they thought I was weird. Maybe I am. You know what I'm saying? But I was just down there trying to figure it out. And by the time I met you, I figured it out. I still just didn't really have a personality. You know, I was kind of closed in.
Yeah. 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 Introvert. I'm an introvert
Yeah.
too, so it take one to know one. A lot of people wouldn't even have noticed. Um, they wouldn't have noticed that recluse young man next door. They probably wouldn't even spoke, but it was something about you just being, being you just quiet. You wasn't trying to win me over, as you just was doing you. And me being the man I am, and your sister speaking on it, I'm like, me and my boy Dave had a record label at the time, Shark Music, and which we still have, but Dave just running that. But when we had the label and hearing just randomly that you rap, it's like this must be a good omen. You know what I mean? This must be a good omen. Let me listen. And I heard you, man, and the rest is history. And that's why we're here today. So tell me a little bit about, take me through your musical journey, man, starting back from that point when you start rapping to how do you end up here?
So basically, you know, the rap, I'm taking it serious. You know, I'm skipping school to battle rapping and write rhymes. That's all I cared about. I never thought for 1 second it wasn't gonna happen. I wasn't thinking about no money, nothing. I just wanted to be the best, recognized as the best. So I'm just doing that. And at a point in time, it's like, man, it's not working. 1 minute I got a studio, then it get taken away from me. My brother give me his studio equipment, then he take it away from me. I move in with him. He got the studio in the basement. He lose the house. I'm without a studio again. Had no money. I'm like, I gotta figure something out. So I get this $80 laptop from this girl at work. I was working in the cafeteria, only job. And I go home and I download the Fruity Loop FL Studio. So I took about a year and a half just being trash, making weak beat after weak beat after weak beat. The same with the writing. Calling people, sending them beats. They not rapping on it. They don't give me no response until one day I get that. I'm gonna say I got it was a beat with Nisha Nashe was on, and I was like, wait a minute.
Well, listen,
Okay.
let's go back a little bit though.
Okay.
Before you transition into beats, you had got on the Sharp Music label with us, and we started to do. We even did a couple shows together.
I knew you was going.
Yeah. We even did a show or two together, and I think we went out of town to see that group Outer Sound. We went up to Michigan. What was it? Yeah, it was in Jackson, Michigan. I took you up to Jackson.
I
Um,
remember that.
took you up to Jackson. I take my jewel in there. I'm showing them off. We see that they already making beats. They got their own little thing going on up there. And from that point, my partner at the time, Randy Holloway, I think that was some people he knew. He introduced us. And then, so I guess, I don't know if that was a spark for you, but from that moment, you switched up. As far as I can remember, it was kind of it was a shift for you, because you told me, you said, man, I'm gonna start doing beats. And I'm like, I don't know if you remember, but you were rapping so good, and I'm like, you gonna switch to beats? I don't know if you remember the whole, and I probably don't remember it verbatim, but I remember the day you told me that you were about to start making beats. And in all transparency, like, this dude too good to close his mouth and stop doing this. But as we see, you knew what you were doing, because millions of streams later, you become Wood on the Beat. So you definitely knew what you was doing, man. So just want to applaud you on that. And then you know what I like to do? I like to take a moment of silence for that moment from when you decide to do something to when the public gives you that nod and say, okay, we accept you for this. You know, in between that, it's a dark time. It's lonely. Yeah. It's lonely. It's you don't believe your family. You want your family and people around you to support you. They're not supporting you. And you start to doubt yourself. So I just like to have a moment of silence for that window of time in your life, because you didn't just go from there to here. It was a part of time that I know you remember it now, and you say, man, I wouldn't go through that again. What was the defining moment for you where you put your first music out with Nisha Nashay? Did you get paid for that track?
No, it was actually a guy who had featured her on the song, and I didn't get paid for that track.
You didn't get paid for that track. Okay,
Nope.
and how did that work? How soon from that point did you start getting paid for music?
Whew. Okay, so that was 2015. I would say within the next year, in 2016, I started to see something like maybe $25, $50 here and there. But by 2017, that's when it really started coming in.
And what gave it that momentum just randomly? Like, was it just you still working, or was it a connection? What was it?
I think it was just the energy of the work, because I was on YouTube just putting up free beats. So I think just the energy I'm putting out, it just started to just bring opportunities.
Okay.
And some dude reached out to me and said he was my cousin, and he linked me with a dude in Atlanta that was working at a studio out in Atlanta. And, I'm sending beats there. He got Rick Ross and Fabulous in the studio and all that. So I'm sending beats there and being asked to remake beats and stuff like that. So that helped me perfect the craft too.
Okay. Now, if you sending beats, did Rick Ross or any of them ever get on your music?
They didn't end up using those ones. I don't know what it was. Like, some, it's always like that. Like, something end up happening. Like, a rapper will rap on it, but it's something in the business that it just won't go through sometimes. It's hit or miss.
The politics of it, huh?
Facts.
Yeah. Okay. So who are your influences in music? Like, who? I know Kanye West was definitely one. That's because, is that the Gemini thing, or is that just?
And I didn't even know he was a Gemini when I first really got inspired by him.
Okay.
It's just the fact that because when I started off rapping, I was rapping about things I wasn't doing because I was a Tupac fan. But I realized that wasn't gonna work out for me. So when I heard Kanye, I'm like, man, he just kind of rapping about his life.
Yeah.
So he taught me how to be myself.
Okay. Okay.
pretty much.
Yeah, and that's what I heard in your music. Like you wasn't trying to be nobody else. Even so, that must have been the time when I got with you. When I first heard you, you had left that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Most definitely.
Facts. I was a gangster like 2 years prior. Gangster
Okay.
rapper.
Now, for people that don't know you, haven't heard your music, I'm sure they've heard it, but if you don't hear that tag first, you won't know. You know what I'm saying? You got a distinctive sound, but it's just the public that they don't go off into who producing. That's kind of a new thing. You ain't really care who produced it, you know. But now the producer is actually an artist now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about tell them or let people know the people you work with so far. People that's in the business in the industry that rapped off your music or sung off of.
So pretty much all the big rappers in Detroit, all Peasy, Babyface, Icewear Vezos, every single one of them. Like everybody from the D. I work with Filthy Rich out in Oakland. Millie's out in Boston. Millie's he going crazy right now. They be rocking with Jadakiss and them.
I saw a beat that you did for somebody out of Moscow or something. You gotta.
Oh yeah, man, that was crazy.
Okay.
And I can't even read the name, but they big. He look pretty big out there.
Yeah, it had 500,000 views on it. I'm like, who are these people?
I don't know. They just reached out to me like, "Hey man, we want to use the beat," and I'm
Okay.
like, "Okay." And I look
Yeah.
on the to see the people featuring on. I'm like, "Who is these blue checks? 1.2 million file? Who is he?"
Yeah, that's dope, man.
That's the
That's
power of YouTube.
right, right. Tell me a little bit about your creative process. Like, when you're in the studio, how, do you approach it differently as a producer compared to being an artist? Like your process.
I would say I approach it the same, man. I kind of just go, no plan. I don't come and say, "Oh, I want to do this with this sound." It's just all
Okay.
just whatever. Go with the flow.
Okay. Okay. And then, as somebody that's been on both sides, performing and producing, you find it easy to communicate with artists which way? I mean, what's the best as far as the person you are? Does that come through better as a rapper or through your beats? What you think? Think your
I
flow
would say rapping.
rapping because you can kind of tell people what you want them to hear? Okay, okay.
Facts.
Um, how has your sound evolved since the days as a rapper versus a singer? How has it evolved? I guess. Like, do you feel
It's like
like
my rapping now.
yeah, because you still rap.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's more mature. It's less time because back then I used to have a lot of time on my hands. So the bars, that's why I was writing like I was because I didn't have nothing to do, just sitting in that room. But now there's a lot going on, so I'm still gonna come with top notch, but it's a little more quicker. I gotta be a little more quicker when I come with the line. So I would say it's more mature. I found my voice. Back then I kind of used the scream. Now I can be like this, and it'll sound crisp and clean. It still sound like I'm not reading.
Okay. Okay. And in what ways has Detroit influenced your work? Just being from Detroit.
Man, I mean, the Motown history, that's one thing. And then we talk about the modern Detroit now with a sound that I used to hate. My homeboys used to listen to it. I mean, man, can y'all turn that off? It's trash.
Right. Yeah.
And now I see that it's not trash. I just was stuck in this box and I couldn't really see what was going on.
Okay.
So I was able to add that sound to what I do and put my own little flavor on it. So
So if I guess every region has its moment. We're in that moment right now. Um, because you hear even Oakland. I don't know if we took their sound. I don't, I really don't know. I think this is a Detroit sound that Oakland took, but Oakland will probably say something different. So, do you, when you working with artists that aren't from this region, are you sending them Detroit style beats or more universal beats?
Man, they want this. They want them Detroit beats, man. Everywhere. New York, Texas, everywhere. Even the Russian dude. They wanted the Detroit. This is crazy.
Wow. Wow.
Everywhere.
Hey, it's a new day, man. It's a new day. I remember we couldn't get a break. We couldn't get a break. Now we have at least 10 artists that's literally making noise. They got motion. At least 10. So can you share a moment in your career where you where you where you thought you wouldn't make it to this point?
Can't lie, man. I never thought like that.
Never
Every
did.
time it was an obstacle, I was like, all right.
Yeah, and that was actually your attitude towards stuff too. I've never seen you talk negative or any of that. And I was always the one in the circle, one of the ones who was always being positive, regardless of what I was seeing. I just didn't want anybody. I could feel what I felt, but I didn't want nobody else to feel it because there's no telling if they could sustain momentum if I say something negative that I see. So I just kept always saying positive stuff, and you were always doing the same thing. So yeah, that's real. That's real. For aspiring artists and producers, what advice would you give about navigating the music industry?
Same advice I got from you. Be a giver. Give it. Don't go in looking for no looking to make money. Like go in looking to build relationships. And the best way to build a relationship is doing something for somebody else.
You know what? I didn't remember that I said that to you, but you brought it up yesterday, and you said that I told you uh, give your music away.
Yeah, like when you early on, starting off.
Yeah, yeah, and I could definitely remember that. And you start giving it away, and it started reciprocating itself, and people start, yeah. Now you work with Sada Baby too. Um,
Facts.
that was I remember y'all were working like I think y'all did 20, 30 songs together, right?
Um,
A
as
lot
far
of
as
people.
just yeah. Well,
Yeah, yeah. I remember.
not all produced by me, but
Okay,
one
in your
time
studio.
he came and did 80 songs in a month, like in less than a month. I was like, whoa,
Wow. Okay. Okay.
work ethic.
Yeah, crazy work ethic. Um, looking back at your career, is it anything that you wish you would have done differently?
Nope, nothing. I do it all the same. I like the path I took, not doing things that I didn't want to do to try to get somewhere. I like that I chose to say, you know what, I'm gonna miss out on this opportunity because I'm not about to put myself in this situation.
Yeah, that's always been your personality, man. I can't, me just being a witness to it. When you saying something, a lot of people cap, man, and they talk about when they make it, they kind of talk a little different about but I was there, and I saw you doing this when you told me you were gonna make beats, and you went and studied your craft. How long did that take?
Man, that took, I would say, a consistent year and a half straight. That's a long time when you think about it. I had to study the Detroit sound. I had to watch videos of the greats like Kanye, Pharrell, and them in the studio. And I just couldn't get the hang of how they was doing it. But I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out. Once I figure it out, it's up.
Yeah, they say what in the book Outliers, they say 10,000 hours or 10 years, whatever the equivalent is, to make you an expert. You know what I mean? So yeah. So you definitely put in the 10,000 hours.
While
And
couch hopping.
yeah, but how long has it been since you made your first beat till today?
Man, I think I made the first one in 2013. But that's when I wasn't, that was just messing around on my brother's stuff. I made that, I wasn't really serious. I didn't buy that laptop until the end of 2014 is when I started taking my producer career serious.
Okay. And at this point, producing is your bread and butter.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. Now, when I posted the advertisement about doing this interview, I showed a plaque. What was the plaque for? What type of plaques do you have?
So I got the only plaque I ordered is the Millie's plaque. And that one was special to me because it's somebody that wasn't from my city. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man.
How does that plaque process work? So you have to pay for that?
Yeah, you gotta order it.
Okay, and you order it from who? From Apple?
I forgot the site. But you basically gotta prove that you was a part of it. So you provide like the Genius website to let it be known, like, okay, you actually credited as a producer on this album.
Okay. And how many 1 million or more plaques do you have? Or songs do you have that streamed at least 1 million?
Oh man. I would say like almost 20.
Wow. So over 20 million streams, it's more than that, but I mean
I'm just talking about the YouTube.
Just YouTube, okay.
YouTube videos, but like Apple and all that, man.
Wow. So how basically when you get off this interview, do you work like 8 hours a day, like it's a regular job, or do you work when you're inspired?
That's a great question, bro. I'm the inspired guy.
Okay.
Like how Jay-Z was saying, like you wanna get some inspiration before you go in. Cause back then I could just go and just make a bunch of trash, but now I wanna give my best every time now.
Okay, and that would lead right into a good question, man. When you make beats and then you send a beat pack out to different artists. That's one thing. But do you ever get those instances where artists they come to you and you have to create for their sound?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you do that process?
Shoot, man, I'm so seasoned now. Remember earlier I told you this guy used to have me remake beats. Like say he got a beat off YouTube, but he couldn't buy it because it was already sold. He'll have me remake it. So now I know how to just imitate sounds and know how to fit a sound that you want just because I had that practice.
Okay, so that's kind of like sampling. Not
in
really,
a sense.
Right. So when it comes to sampling, have you had to clear samples or do you even go through that if it's not a project that you see going far, or you just how did that work? I don't want you to incriminate yourself.
Dang, man. Hold on. I'll just say this just to be safe. I've been the lucky one that ain't ran into no problems yet. I've seen others, but I'm just lucky.
Okay. And we're gonna make sure you stay lucky by getting off this subject.
Yeah, let's
But
move on.
most definitely, most definitely. Okay, so if what would you so to anybody that's watching or that sees this interview, um, they may have young people that want to get into the business. Is there a starter pack that you would say you need to start making beats if you were starting today?
You mean like a drum kit or something?
Yeah, like a drum kit or a beat machine. I mean, a certain setup. You know, speakers, a deck.
Okay, like equipment.
Yeah,
I would say, man, you know, the young dudes, they probably don't really got the funds like that. So I would just say get a laptop, get you some nice quality headphones, and then get you like a small MIDI keyboard. They sell it for like $25 and just lock in. Make it your life. Eat, sleep, and breathe them beats and music. No females, no nothing. Focus on that.
and when you say a MIDI keyboard, I remember I used to have an old Casio keyboard. I'm telling my age, but it don't even matter the brand. Just okay, just
MIDI
smart.
keyboard that you plug into the computer via USB. So you can't play it unless it's connected to like a computer or a laptop.
Right, but what about and then what app should they use or what program?
I would recommend start off on FL Studio. It's user friendly. It's been the number one beat making software for the last maybe 10 years. Even though everybody used to look down on it. So I would say get that. And then once you build your stuff up and get confident, you're gonna get tired of it and you're gonna want to branch out. Go get yourself an MPC. You know what I'm saying? Grab you a machine. Start working with some drum machines, learning. Just learning different take your craft to the next level, young brothers and sisters. I just went and got me an MPC, all that.
Not so you never had an MPC?
No, but I always wanted it because I seen Kanye making beats on it.
So who is your favorite producer?
I'm gonna just have to go Yay.
And why?
But I can give you a top five. Why? Because he came when Jay-Z was at the top of the game, but his sound was getting boring, and he came and he brought the soul back, but he had his own way of doing it. Like the drums he was using was him. And I just always felt his beats. There's something about a Kanye beat, man.
Yeah, yeah,
He was
yeah.
doing R&B.
And his sampling was crazy. He just knew what to sample. He knew what to sample. Give me your top five then, since we're talking about it.
It's easy. I ain't gonna waste no time, man. We got Kanye, Pharrell, Timberland, Dr. Dre, and me. No, I'm just playing. The last one, I gotta throw Jay Dilla in there.
Man, Jay Dilla. So I get a lot of so I don't know. Well, some people may know, but I do a lot of logistics, transportation. Basically, I drive for a lot of the stars that come into town. And one day I was picking up Questlove. Questlove. I picked him up from the airport. We riding down 94, headed to his sound check over at Shane Park at the time. It's Aretha now. But we headed there, and he's telling me about his last time in Detroit. He said, man, my last time I was in Detroit, I was stuck here. He said the towers had failed. And I was in Jay Dilla's house in the basement with him and his mother. His mother wasn't in the basement, but he was at Jay Dilla's house. He was stuck because all the flights was grounded. He said, man, Jay Dilla was the man. And most people, so Jay Dilla, I couldn't tell you off the top, not one Jay Dilla song, but I'm not a music head like that. But Jay Dilla is a legend and most people don't even know a song he made. What is it about Jay Dilla that puts him on your top 5?
I was kind of like you, man, but I was like, what is it? Why do people keep saying this? So I started studying his production and what he did. I'm like, bro, what was he thinking when he was chopping them samples and adding the way he programmed his drums? Like, what would make him? He was like an alien.
Okay.
Like the Far Side can't keep running away. That was
Okay, he did that.
crazy.
Yeah.
He did the comment. There are times when you need someone. Classic.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And I never knew who produced those songs growing up, but they always stuck.
Yeah, it was one of those things we didn't worry about the producers. When we looked at the back of an album, you remember we used to sit there and read all the credits. The producer, unless it was, unless it was conglomerate. Remember, what's the guys who did all of R. Kelly's Home Alone that time? Trackmasters.
Trackmasters.
Yeah. Let's say it was a conglomerate. We really didn't pay attention to it.
Like a Babyface Ray L.A. Reid type of vibe.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. All right. So my quality took a hit a little bit, but guess what? We improvised. But like I say, I appreciate you being here, bro. I literally, selfish plug, I feel like I discovered you. So
I give you that.
I feel like I discovered you. And I take pride in that, man. And that's why I always, I remember when 10V started really going hard on his music, the first thing I did was connected y'all to, he had a budget and I wanted to push power to power. You feel what I'm saying? And y'all got together and y'all made some classics. Actually, I'm gonna probably use his patterns on my intro video. Yeah. That's gonna be part of my intro video to the podcast. But I appreciate you coming on, man. What's up? What's next for Wood on the Beat?
You know, man, I'm still producing and things, but I kind of took a back seat because I want to focus on content. So more like in studio, cooking up, beat making vlogs, linking up with artists, vlogging content, and live streaming. That's really what's on my radar.
And then how do people find you? I see you got your tag up at Wood on the Beat. Where else
Yeah, you can find me everywhere. Wood on the Beat. WOODONDABEAT. It's not THE. DA. Wood on the Beat. Everywhere. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat.
Okay.
Twitch.
Definitely. So listen, once somebody sees this, I want to give them a chance to get on a Wood on the Beat track. Would you be willing to possibly, for my listeners and my audience, would you be willing to do maybe a 2-beat pack, depending on if it's R&B, rap, just something I can give to my people just as a gift for watching? If at least, well, I'm gonna come up with something. Where we'll figure it out. We'll work it out in the background because I want to do something nice for people because a couple people stayed on this live the entire time, so I appreciate that.
Shout out to everybody who stayed on rocking, man.
Most definitely, man. Like I say, I appreciate you. Is there anything for closing? Is there any departing words that you want to give the people?
Man, my closing words is never give up on your dream. When your family is saying, what is you doing? You need to go to school and all that. Just keep saying, and lock in. Treat it like it's all you got. Because 10 years from now, you're going to look up and be like, all right, it was worth it. But when you stop, you got to watch everybody else. And that ain't the side of the fence you want to be on.
When you stop, you got to watch everybody else. That's one thing we talked about too. Me and my partner, we did 2 movies back in 2011 before Tubi. And we had some rough launches. We had one we did over there with shout out to Dennis Reed too, man. I saw what he turned this business into, and I was really a part of the start of that whole thing he was doing over there. So I just shout out to Dennis Reed, shout out to all the actors that were in any one of our movies, that the True Law, the Bianca. A shout out to everybody, because after that, I kind of got a bad taste in my mouth for the business, and I just kind of took a back seat, and I watched as this movie business came full circle. Tubi came out, and everything, it's all history now. It's a bittersweet feeling when I see people acting, and it's like, man, I was at the forefront of this, and I stopped. So most definitely, one more time, don't quit. Tell the young people, don't quit. And it ain't just for the young people, it's for our peers. Don't give up. Bet on yourself. Stay focused. Break the pattern, because most people, you only notice somebody when they stand up and say, I'm going to do something different. I was just riding down the street and I posted on my page, and I saw a cyber truck, and it just split hairs on the freeway. Like, literally, everybody else was spectators, because this man came up with this idea for this vision for this truck. And I don't know the future for the truck, because I think we're a little ahead of the curve, but just the look of it, it separates you. Even if you're in a Bentley, the people you see Bentleys, but Cybertruck is just new, and it's a new look, and it's taking us in a new direction. So definitely break the pattern. Hey y'all, I appreciate y'all being here and spending time with me this morning. This is Wood on the Beat, multi-streaming producer. Make sure y'all look him up at Wood on the Beat on all platforms. I appreciate y'all being here. This is the Pattern Disruption Podcast. Thank you for viewing. Make sure you like, share, and comment. And as we leave out, I just want to say thank you. Peace be with you. Be blessed. Love. Bro, I'll get with you soon. We're going to talk. Thank you for doing this, man.
For sure, man. Anytime.